right, so Jordan and I are at. Hey, Jordan. we're at Calvary Cemetery in what city is this in? I don't even
Pittsburgh.
know. This is actually Pittsburgh. Okay, and we did a bit of a loop around to look for this grave, but Jordan GPS'd it and we found it. This gentleman that we're visiting actually lived in Connecticut.
And look for all the black headstones.
Yeah, lived in Connecticut, died in Burbank, and is here by his parents. Thank you for your service, ladies and gents.
Right behind the veterans section.
Yeah, there's the mausoleum and the front office. And there he is.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. What does it all mean?
That is so cool.
What does it all mean? So, Frank Gorshin, one of his big things was George Burns.
Really?
He did a George Burns show. He did an entire show of being George Burns. And according to Haji, I knew Haji, she's dead now, one of the three girls in Faster Pussycat Kill Kill. She told me that she'd sell me a pair of Frank's underpants. So I'm like, okay, because everyone always knew he had a huge, and even Adam West talks about it. And Haji said that he was a skinny guy and he was all.
And they put him in a leotard suit for Batman?
So she was going to sell me a pair of his underwear. So I go to Kitten at Tabadad's house. She lived really close to me. And Haji's coming over, and she says, I couldn't find his underwear, but I have his shoes. Do you want to buy his shoes? It's like, no, I just wanted his underwear. I don't need his shoes. So anyway, we talked for a while. Said he was really nice, a man's man, and a big time smoker. In fact, yeah, he was really. People didn't want to be around him sometimes because he smoked so much. And when he was on tour, she said that he would always book shows, and he always booked chemo in the cities he was on tour with when he was touring.
Did he ever resent being the Riddler, or was that something he was proud of?
I don't think so. I mean, she never said that. He was, he's a stage actor. He was a comedian, and he was always, he loved being in front of the audience, and that was his smack. She said that he didn't want to be depressed, so probably when he got cancer, he just went out on the road and did more stuff. But he was living, at the time he died in St. Joseph's Hospital in Burbank. And Haji was telling me that when he died at the hospital, she went to she was shacking up with him at the hotel. And she says she went back to the room, and his wife had already got there. And they had like a physical altercation, and she was throwing her clothes at her and screaming at her in the lobby of the hotel. So Haji got kind of, she was Frank's bit on the side.
That's what it all meant.
Yeah. And the wife was like not having it. I was going through some old files, and I saved some information from an old buddy of mine named John Stacks. And John told me this about Frank's death. He said Frank did his last show, Say Goodnight Gracie, in Memphis, Tennessee. On the flight back to California, his breathing all but stopped. He'd been suffering from lung cancer. Haji and the captain released an oxygen mask for Frank. Haji took a photo of Frank, and this was his last. This is the very last photograph of Frank Gorshin. They had an ambulance waiting in Los Angeles when they arrived. He asked the attendants to let him smoke a cigarette before they loaded him up, and they let him. Haji contacted Frank's son, Mitchell, and he contacted Frank's wife. Mitchell and his mother arrived at the hospital the next morning, and a physical fight started in the hall with Haji near Frank's room. Security escorted Haji out. Frank then wrote a note asking that Haji be by his side. Haji returned and stayed with Frank until he died. The day Frank died, his wife, Christine, rushed to the hotel room that he shared with Haji and started removing all of Frank's items. Haji arrived, and the hair pulling started. Haji was escorted out by security. Frank did not have a will, and since he and Christine were still legally married at the time, she got his entire estate. Haji got nothing. So yeah. So I wonder what happened to Haji. But Frank was cremated at Forest Lawn in Los Angeles, and then shipped back here to be with his parents in Pennsylvania. But yeah, Adam West talks about they had a blast doing Batman together with Frank. I think, and then I think he even talks about orgies. I think he talked because they would have orgies.
West was known for being a ladies' man as well.
And he said that they were at the Playboy Mansion in an orgy or something, and they couldn't get into it because they kept hearing Frank Gorshin's laugh. I think either that or Burt Ward said it, but yeah. So look for the black headstone and look for that guy behind him in that row of 5 or 6 tombstones right there. And that's pretty, it's not difficult.
It's literally right where the veterans section ends.
Yeah.
In front of the mausoleum.
Pretty cemetery. Humid as hell. I don't know how you people do it. And by you people, I mean Pennsylvanians. All of you thems.
That is a great headstone. I love that though.
Yeah.
Silhouette and everything. His father was Frank also, huh?
His father died, what, 98?
Yeah. So he was Frank Jr.
And he died in 2005. Huh. Rest in peace, Mr. Riddler. I want to thank the most recent Patreon supporters of my work. You can find the link below. It's very much appreciated. Carrie Beeler, Dan Smith, John Locke, Michael Kraus, Jerry Bailey, Valerie Todd, Jennifer O, and Maria Day. Thank you very much for your time and for your attention. You heard me.